G'day legends, welcome back. We are up to episode 4 of Chasing Better with Knoxy, and the incredible thing is that we're almost at the length of the Star Wars trilogy, which for me is super exciting because massive Star Wars nerd. But that aside, it's time to introduce our amazing guest today, Mr. We're off to a flyer today. So Miss Twee Nguyen, she has been one of our fantastic members at TVC in Mandurah for probably, how long have you been with us?
A little over a year now.
Yeah, so it's been just over 12 months, and it gets on like a house on fire with Lauren, our first ever episode member. And the crazy thing is I'd love to talk to her today about probably battling against adversity from peers and social groups when it comes to the whole training aspect, and just a few things that she's battled on the mental health side of things in terms of getting into training for the first time efficiently and consistently. But she's had a ripper transformation as well, as all of our clients do because we're amazing. Not biased at all. But yeah, so welcome aboard, champ. Are you excited, and how's your day been?
I'm excited. I'm really tired. I had work all day.
Yeah.
And you only asked me to do this like last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to know it was on your list.
Awesome. No, you're definitely on there. Everyone is, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Who pulled out? Who pulled out? Was it
no. But yeah, so I suppose like you've been with us for 12 months, but let's wind back the clock and kind of see what was it like growing up for Twee? Like, were you born and raised in Australia? Like, did you come from overseas? Like, what was the go there?
So
what's your kind of heritage and
I
background?
was actually born in a refugee camp in Thailand. So my mum fled during the war from Vietnam, obviously. She actually did about 3 failed attempts of leaving Vietnam. The first 2 boats she got onto were captured, like, to send back to Vietnam, like, before they even left the country. The third, I think it was the 3rd time, they were in a forest. She thought she was going to die in the forest. Ended up on a boat heading to Thailand. Her boat had 21 people. Only 2 people survived. And that was her and this other lady that she made friends with. But because their boat actually, she got captured as well by pirates.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So they took the women.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There's 3 women on that boat. They took my mum and those 2 women onto their boat. And the men pleaded with my mum and the other ladies to be like, yeah, let them do whatever and then they'll let us go. But they didn't. They ended up taking the girls and then they ploughed their boat and it sank. So
yeah, right.
So everyone left on that boat actually died at sea.
Yeah, right.
No,
that's cool.
So mum was captured for a little while.
Yeah.
Don't exactly know the timeline.
Yeah.
Eventually they had to obviously get rid of the people that they captured because I think something happened. Someone had a tip or something.
Yeah.
And so she was threw out to sea again to drown. So they threw them both out at sea to drown and then just drove their boat off.
You should have told me about this before I met her the other day, because I would have given her a massive hug. Like, that is an intense story. Like, crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Even when I heard it for the first time, when I was younger, I didn't actually realise the extent that she went through just to get us to Australia, just to get a better life for us.
Crazy.
Obviously,
Yeah, right.
So but then obviously they were found. Mum was on a coral in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, right.
The first girl got washed into the beach.
Your mum's actually a mermaid, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, totally. That's why we can swim so well.
Yeah. Twee's an amazing swimmer. Actually, we'll have to fact check on that.
Yeah,
I'm not
sure. So obviously the first lady was washed ashore, and she was like, "There's still another person out there." They sent out the guards, patrol, found mum, took him in there, and then she ended up in Thailand in a refugee camp.
Mm-hmm.
And there she met my dad. Don't know when the timeline was.
Yeah.
But she was there for about 6 years.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, and I was born 2 years later, so I was there until I was 4.
Yep.
And then we got rejected to go to America.
Okay.
So Katekla was supposed to go to America originally.
You could have been a Yank.
I could have been a Yankee, but I'm so glad I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I ended up in Australia.
Good choice there. Good choice there. Yeah.
Oh, I would be so stuck up in America with my dad. So we just ended up in Australia instead. So we came here when I was 4.
Yep.
Yeah, so we went to Perth, Melbourne for a little bit. Melbourne had no work for any refugees or Asian people, obviously at the time, unless it was really low paying work. There was no farms or stuff in Melbourne, so she decided to come to Perth to work because over here we have a lot more farming and stuff like that she could do.
Yeah, cool.
And so it was ultimately to make money just to go back to Vietnam for the first time because her family thought that she died, guys. family thought that she was dead.
Yeah, right.
She was dead to them.
That's incredible.
Yeah, because there was no phones, there was only letters, and she
Yeah,
sent home
yeah,
a letter,
yeah.
but no one believed that it was her letter because
Yep.
it's just a handwriting.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So so we came to Perth originally just to
This is before Facebook.
before anything.
Only a couple of years ago, guys. Only a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, so we came back to Perth only to make enough money to go back to Vietnam to see her family again, and then she ended up staying here.
Okay.
Yes, and so we ended up living here, I guess.
So have you've essentially then grown up the rest of your time over in WA?
Yeah.
Like here in WA? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Have you always been in Mandurah?
No, I was in I've lived in Belga.
Yep.
And then I've moved to Ballajora.
Yep.
And now I'm in Mandurah.
Yeah, right.
My family's
Okay.
still Ballajora though.
Yeah, right. Okay. Awesome, man. So that is an incredible story to come from.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up as a kid? Like, were you someone that, like, because you're a very outgoing person, as we all know. You're one of the loudest members we've got at the club, which is fantastic, because the energy you bring is awesome. But, like, as a kid, were you, like, that's a pretty deep background to come from. Like, was that something you had to, like, struggle with, like, at school, or was it something that you you just took it in your stride and you just always had that kind of outgoing personality as a kid? Like, what was the go there?
Definitely not when I was in school. So I was really illiterate when I was younger. I could not read or spell or speak properly.
Okay.
So for me it was really hard because obviously I was the eldest in my family. So my mom coming here and then she was pregnant with my sister at the time when we came over here. But because we didn't have any support and stuff, so I was her support, so I had to translate, do paperwork, take it everywhere. And for me it was really, really hard because I couldn't be a kid. So I had to grow up super fast, and then I also I wasn't very outgoing as a kid either. I was very shy, really quiet, more like a sheep back then because I didn't want to make any waves, and I didn't want to be made fun of because back then racism was like huge back then. Like you walk on the street, people just yell like "Ching Chong Chinese," and you're like,
yeah, right.
Like what do I do in those situations because I was so young, can't really do much, right?
Yeah.
Even through like high school, I was very reserved. Because I was always afraid to just be me, and I was afraid to like be the outgoing me that I am now, obviously, and the loud me because I'm like, oh, what if people don't like that? What if like I rub people the wrong way, or what if I can't make friends, and things like that. And those things really played on like a lot of my mental health because I was like always afraid of just being me and being myself.
So did you ever feel it was like I suppose in your particular case, because obviously we've talked with Lauren, and she was always an introvert, and it's probably been really the last 12 months while she's been training and kind of opening up to a whole new world of opportunity and just life experience. Like she's only really come out of her shell since doing that, but for yourself, it was more of a forced kind of quietness, right? Like because you didn't really want to upset the apple cart, which unfortunately is just how it was by the sense of things. And of course I can totally understand like where you would have had to come from that, which is like, dealing with the situation as best you can, right? So, and even as a kid, like hats off to you, because I mean, that's incredible, to be able to adapt to that at such a young age already. But I mean, with that in mind, like, did you find it was difficult to kind of, did you ever do any sort of social stuff as a kid? Like, were you into sports and like any sort of training beforehand, or like, was there anything like that? Or did you kind of just go to school, come home, and then that was kind of your kind of lifestyle? Like, what was the go there?
I sort of just went to school and came home because like Asian parents like back in the day were like, you come home straight away from school, you're gonna get like a whoopee, it was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. It was a dangerous world, obviously, because mum was a single mum and was alone, so it was more like a safety thing, and she worked her butt off like 24/7 for us, so she wasn't really home as much. So I had to take someone with like my sisters and all those other like things. So it's like like school and home. Like every now and then I'll probably like come home later than what I should have because I got caught up in like trying to make friends or play with friends. And sports and stuff. I tried to get into a few things, but didn't really stick because I didn't have anyone to take me, and also like financially we probably weren't there to do all those things. I went to a few like youth groups and stuff like that as well. A few summer camps, I think. I want to have summer camps.
Cool. No, awesome, man. So like that next kind of step, I suppose probably the big question is like, where do you think the loud twee started to happen?
Oh.
Have we got like a timeline on that? Like, where do you feel that
Loud
happened?
twee. Let me just.
Because I still remember day one of you coming into the gym, right? And you were doing your induction with Leandy, another one of our awesome members. Shout out to Leandy. And you guys, I couldn't shut you up. Like, it was insane. And you guys had never met each other before. And I was like, cool, these two are carrying on like they've literally known each other their whole life. But like, you did mention, obviously, you were quite quiet beforehand.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah,
where do you find that
so
kind of happening?
I think with me, when I, like, after turning 18, actually no, because I'm 29 this year, guys. So I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided that I didn't want to hold myself back anymore. I didn't want to just be a quiet person anymore. I didn't, because I felt like whenever I was trying to like shut my own voice, hold myself back, I ended up being more depressed.
Okay.
I ended up being like more upset at myself because I didn't speak up at that time, because I didn't tell people what I really thought or how like what my opinion was. So for me, it was more like, I think it's time for you to do something for you, and that was the first step in me, becoming the real me. The real me, not the person that I choose to show certain people, not the person that I choose to be in front of, like my mum's like older adult friends, aunties, cousins, all those people, and not the person that I show people at work either. I just wanted to be twee. I just wanted to be the twee that just wants to have fun and be loud and make friends. But I'm also quite awkward at times too, because I have a really bad resting bitch face. So I'm not very approachable.
No. That's such a great way of putting it.
It's true. It's true. If you have that, like, you're not approachable to other people. And I guess that's also why, like, I have like a resting. I should also be careful what I say, because anything I say, especially in monotone, will sound really mean and harsh when I don't mean it to be. Like, I don't mean it to be like, I could just say to you, like, I don't like you today, and you can take it the wrong way, right?
Yeah, I would take that the wrong way.
Tell you that during all our gym sessions, man. But yeah, like, so in order to like kind of reverse, the resting bitch face, I had to be louder, so that they can hear me before they see me, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Because it's first impressions are important, right? So if they just saw my face, like at work, I'm covered like half a mask. I look like hella scary. And I'm not very approachable. But if
you're a nail technician.
Yeah, I'm a nail technician.
Yeah, by trade.
So so I have to like cover up half a face to work. But if you hear me first, realize that people heard me first, they don't look at me.
Yeah, right.
Like the way I'm staring,
with reserved feelings already.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
nice,
they hear my voice first, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, she sounds really cheerful, or really happy, or really, and she's not a bitch." So
I suppose a really powerful thing to come from that, because a lot of people out there, like I said with Lauren and the other guys that have talked as well, even Sam last week, the crazy thing is so many people out there these days, they don't know how to be themselves. And that is a 24/7 thing. Like, they just don't know that they have their own identity. They don't know how to, forge their own path, so to speak. And I think a powerful thing with that is so many people get stuck in the comparison game because they're constantly trying to be perfect. And I think the quicker society can realize that perfection just doesn't exist, which you've obviously heard me say heaps of times in the gym, but like, I think the quicker people can realize that, the world's going to be a better place, because you're going to have people that aren't trying to be a clone of everyone else.
Exactly.
I find that mentality to be extremely boring. Now, again, I'm an outgoing person, and I've always luckily been that way. I see it as being lucky, but anyway, I think the great thing with your story is that you can see that you actually found power by putting your voice out there first. Yeah,
definitely. Like, even at work, like, when I started my career like 10 years ago, it used to be, obviously retailing, you have to be nice because the customer's always right, and and all the Karens want to speak to your manager. However, Karen, you're not right, okay? And I think I've realized that over the years that in the beginning I tried to please other people. Oh, yes, ma'am, yes, you can have that shape even though that shape doesn't exist, or that color is not a real color, but okay, you can have all those things. Whereas now, like, as I've grown over the years, it's more like, no, you can't have that because that's not a real thing. That's not a realistic thing for me to do for you. And it's not a realistic thing for you to have because you can't even pay that price anyways. So I realized that people actually liked me when I spoke the truth.
When you're honest, right?
Yeah, when you're honest. Like, when you're honest and when you're real, when just you, I found that people actually responded better to it than when I was being reserved or not so talkative.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, and then I'll try again the next day and try to be a little bit more of myself. And then it just rolls over until until you can just completely be yourself every single day.
And that's something I found, like being a coach, I'm always reminding people that yes, the truth hurts, like it does. But unfortunately, that's the only thing that people respond to when they have to face the truth, speak the truth, whatever. They always feel a pain point or whatever. They never actually think of the fact, well, if I'm actually honest about something, I'll get the answer that I'm looking for by asking the better question.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hide behind something that I'm afraid of. I'm just going to get it out there and actually potentially fix an issue or a problem or whatever the case may be. And I think that's just something that is very difficult for the everyday person, again, to like become accustomed to. And I suppose to tie that in, what was it like day one walking into the gym? Now, obviously by this stage you were loud twee, and that's great.
Yeah.
You've got that bubbly personality, but you did mention the awkward side as well, which still I'm sure from time to time still have that feeling. Probably nowhere near as much, but that's great. That's definitely growth, and well done on that. I think to run the listeners through, like what was going through your head on day one?
Oh, day one was like, it was like, oh, do I even go to this gym?
Mm-hmm.
I already met you for my one-on-one interview and all that stuff. Paid for it, but I was still like, oh, I could just treat this as dead money again, like every other gym.
Again, brutal honesty.
Like,
it works.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
Like I could just treat this like that's what it was, right? Because every other gym membership is the same. Like you just leave it there, you don't use it, and then eventually, maybe a year or two, you just cancel it because you've forgotten that money comes out, right? And on day one, I was like, do I go? Do I not go? That was like the thought in my head all day because I had work and then I went to the gym. So I was like, do I go to the gym? Do I not go to the gym? But I'm too afraid to go to the gym. Like, what if everyone judges me? What if I'm not as fit as everyone else? Or what if I can't do whatever?
Again, comparing to everyone else, right?
Because most other gyms you do compare because it's all muscle people that go in there.
And there's mirrors everywhere.
Yeah, right? So it was just scary.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I was like, well, it's either I take control of my health today or I let it spiral for another year or two, like I have been, and then it gets worse. Because by this point, like, I wasn't at my heaviest, but I wasn't at my lightest either. I was in that in-between stage.
Yep.
And I also recently took a trip to Europe, like about a year or so before that. And I was really puffed out in Europe. There was a lot of walking, and like, after about a kilometre, I was like, I need a rest, I need water. And I was like, no, I want to travel the world. If I want to travel the world and do all of these adventures, I want to climb, Mount Fuji, I want to do all these things, right? Do a trail, do a puff, like I'm going to have to be healthy for it. If I'm not, I'm going to get puffed out. And there's no point going on a holiday if you're unhealthy and obese and fat and you can't do all those things, right? I was like,
you want to chase those things.
Yeah, I want to chase those things. And I was like, no, I need to take control of it now, because if I don't, then I know I won't do it. And especially since I was signed up to like the 6-week challenge. So for me, it was like, I think that was like the best ticking like changeover, because I was like, it will be only for 6 weeks. If I continue it after that, that's fine. But at least in 6 weeks, I can make a change now. Yeah, so that's why I went on that first day.
Fantastic, man. And I suppose that leads into another big point of like purely, and I'm full of cliches, I say them all the time, but purely just showing up, that's the battle right there. Like I say to you guys all the time, if you can get through that front door of whether it's your new job, your new life, whatever, the gym, whatever, like if you can get through that door, the rest is simple.
Yeah.
Because the hard bit's already done, right? And it comes down to like, what do you feel is actually holding you back? And it's like, well, a lot of the time this day and age, it's the comparison to everyone else and caring about what everyone else thinks. And it's like, it's not going to be something you can change like that.
Yeah.
But that little spark of just showing up can like start an incredible like journey, which is really, really cool.
Oh, but also I promised Leanne that I'll be there.
Oh, there you go.
We're messaging each other like, what session will you be at? Like, we'll support each other. What session? And she's like, I'll be at this session. I'll be there with you too. Like, we tried really hard because it was like, if I didn't go, then I'll be letting her down, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I had to force myself to go. Even the same now with Lauren and Sonia, like we message each other all the time. We're like, what gym session are you going to?
Yeah.
Force each other to go to. our gym sessions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you don't go, you're disappointing your partner or your friend or whoever it is that is doing it with you, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to commit together because you have that support. And I think that was the best thing about joining TBC, because it was just the support of everyone. It wasn't awkward. Like, everyone was really nice. Everyone was super fun to be around, and even working out and just, you know, the banter's so much fun.
And that's what we're here for, right? Like, again, people, they want results. At the end of the day, they want to know that they can move some body weight, move some body fat, look a bit better, you know, whatever the goal may be, it's chasing that little bit of better, right? Which is what we love to talk about. But the other part that goes hand in hand with that is that you're seeing people creating this whole lifestyle of actually being around other humans. Like, which is community in essence, right? Like, people are often like, oh, I love the fact that my gym's got like 1,000 people there. I'm like, do you know any of them? Like, that's just just a brutal, honest question. It's like, do you talk to people when you go and train, or are you someone that literally headphones in as soon as you go in the door and then you never speak to anyone, right? Like, that was something I used to hate working in a big box gym, is that, like, I knew over 200 plus members, right? But essentially those members, you had to literally like draw them together to be like, hey, this is Gary, he's looking for the similar sort of outcome that you are, you know. Whereas what we've got with our crew is, it's just any new person that comes in, it's like, cool, well, this is Sally, she wants results. Oh, awesome, Sally, let's go. And there's no other if, buts, maybes, you know, whatever. It's just like, all right, let's go, class is in session, all right, ding, ding, ding. So I think, what would be your top 3 tips? What would be your top 3 tips for getting it done week in, week out? Now that you've had a good solid 12 months, you've seen some really awesome training results, but also physical change as well. And then obviously the mental health side as well. So like, for someone out there that is, you know, again, the goal of this is to try and make sure that people are able to feel comfortable to take that first step. Whether it is joining the gym, going for a run for the first time, or just changing their food habits or starting a new job, or whatever the case may be, like taking that first step. Like, what would your top 3 be, you reckon?
So there is, even if you fail your first week or your second week, just do it again. Just reset and do it again. Make friends. Don't be afraid to say hi to the person sitting next to you on the couch at the gym.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Because
like,
sometimes we sit there and we actually don't talk to the person that's sitting right there, because I don't think I would have made friends with Lauren if we didn't just talk for some reason. Some random reason, like we're just like, hey, let's talk. And then look at us now.
Can you, with that in mind, interesting that you bring that up, like, can you possibly remember what was potentially the first thing you talked about?
No.
Was it DOMS?
What?
I'm sore.
No, because I just remember that I think Lauren and I only really got to talk at one of our dinners.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Don't think, not the Christmas, I think it was like our 1 year dinner or something.
Yeah.
Because it was after Lauren died, so I'm not sure it was Christmas or not though. No, because Di and Ray joined as well. So was that Christmas? Yeah. So Lauren and I only really got to talk like during that Christmas dinner. Okay. Prior to that, like I think we like crossed over in training and stuff. But when I went on holidays for a few weeks, I think like Lauren told me they were playing a game like, is Twee gonna show up? Is she not gonna show up? Where is Twee? That was the game. She literally told me, she's like, we're taking bets on like who, like, you know, if you're gonna show up or not or something. And I was like, really? Why? I don't know. I didn't even know that they actually even like knew me or of me or whatever. But I was like, okay. And then I think and then we were like showed to the same sessions, and it was just more like us just pushing each other along, like go heavier, Lauren. You go heavier, so you go.
And leaving messages on the board. Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you send it to her?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Did you send it to her?
No. But she saw it.
She hasn't been in.
Hey?
No, she wasn't in yesterday.
Oh, that's right. No. Yeah. But she'll see it. We'll leave it up there. It's still on there. That's cool. And then what would be kind of like your final third tip? So obviously, failure is okay. It's part of the process.
Definitely.
The second one, obviously we get lost in conversation, so it's fine. But the second one is that, reach out to people that are looking for the same sort of stuff. Like look for that opportunity to make friends with people on the same sort of path. Yeah. I think that's really powerful. That's awesome. Yeah. And like, what else would be kind of like one of your guiding tips to get someone started?
I think my last tip is just to do it with an open heart and an open mind. Okay. Don't come into it so closed-minded and thinking that it's going to be the same like every other time you've done it, because honestly, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you've done something, it's never exactly the same, right? It's either going to be better or it's either going to be worse, right? You're always hoping that it's going to be the better option, but
there's always going to be a potential chance for growth.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're going to learn something.
Yeah, take every opportunity. I think my third thing is take every opportunity and just say yes to it.
Yeah.
Just say yes, no matter what.
Unless it's crystal meth, okay? We're just putting that out there.
Why do we have crystal meth around? That is my question.
Just kidding. Just
heck no?
No, it's definitely an issue. No, that's right. Awesome. So some really powerful stuff there. And I think probably the closing thing would be, like, what are you excited for in the next 12 months?
I'm excited to improve on all my lifting, you know, like my squats, my deadlifts, and my bench presses.
PB this week, very good.
Thank you. Body weight by the end of the program.
Yeah, nice.
That's the hope.
Easy, mate, easy.
Don't make me do a fifth set. Don't make me do a fifth set for the video. I think the next one, I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, my friend Annie grow in the gym. She's just joined as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
You
to
didn't even rope her in much.
Actually, no, she was like least effort. I was just like, just come. And she was like, okay.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Like, she's so cute though. Love Annie.
So I suppose a really cool thing there is that you're now able to see the positive change you've had and the positive change that you can now pass on to others, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like even with my sisters at home when I first joined the gym, I was like, I have to meal prep for the next 6 weeks. eat all this strange food on this menu. It's like 3 meals a day. That was a struggle. But even with that, I was just like, yeah, you know, meal prepping is really easy now, guys. Like I've done it for like 6 weeks, and it's so simple. I just meal prep everything on a Sunday, and it goes in container, weigh everything. Yeah, it's so great. So I kept talking about it with them, and then eventually they started meal prepping as well, and they're like, oh my god, it's not hard at all. I was like, I told you so. That's another story. That's like big sister stuff. That's like, do what I say now.
Just guide them in the right direction. Just gentle push and then a shove. Nice. Kick them in the right direction. Good. No, awesome, man. And anything else in the next 12 months? Any other big stuff that you're looking forward towards?
I'm looking forward to Lauren when she reaches her PB.
Yeah. Hitting her
300
300.
PB.
It's going to be a very big day when she pulls it off in the club.
It will.
Very,
I want to
cool.
follow her, but I will take a bit longer than that.
And that's all right.
It will definitely take longer than that.
Yeah.
But I like how we all have our own separate goals, but we can all still keep up with each other.
Brilliant.
Like, you know.
It's a level playing field, but just slightly different kind of positions on the field. I suppose,
and we're not comparing ourselves to each other either.
Yeah.
It's just more like, yeah, you know, I'm Asian, I can squat lower.
Yeah, and I mean, it's I think that's a really cool thing that you guys, you know, you've been here that a couple of months now, or you're nearly a year, or whatever the case may be, is you're now able to see that, you know, even as just everyday people, you guys all have incredible stories. And I suppose on that note, we'll leave it at that. And I'd love to say a massive thanks for coming on today. I know you've had a big day at work, but, you know, to share your story of vulnerability at the start there, I think that's very powerful. So again, I really appreciate that, because it's always going to be difficult to kind of get that out. But in such a forum where this could potentially inspire just that one person to take that first step towards chasing their own better, then like amen to that. So again, thanks for coming on, Twee. I'm sure you'll be on another episode in the future. Many more probably.
When someone drops out,
I'm thinking we'll probably have a cooking show. It's going to be crazy the next 12 months. So.
Is that a real thing?
It could be a real thing.
Video, you can't take it back now.
Well, I love to talk. You love to make spring rolls. So there's always potential there, right? All we need is a camera and a YouTube channel. So that's already set up.
You're going to be voiceover.
We can definitely make that happen. Awesome, man. Thanks for your time. High five again.
Thanks, mate.
And that has been episode 4, guys. And if you'd love to check out Twee's content, she's all over Facebook. Check her out in our videos at the gym as well. She's smashing out PBs left, right, and center at the moment. So we'll keep that crushing in the next 12 months. And thanks for listening. Go and take your first step towards better, guys.